Welcome to NFL News Update, where touchdowns meet headlines. Stay in the game with the freshest NFL updates. This is your quick dive into football fervor.
Cynthia Frelund 2024 NFL Mock Draft 1.0. Bears pass on TV. Commanders land Caleb Williams. I always do my mock drafts a little differently from the traditional method, in that my team prospect pairings are based on optimizing for wins in the upcoming season, in a structured way. Here's a quick look at my process. I take the best available information about free agency, which right now is admittedly not much more than what we know about player contracts, to predict players' market value. I then check free agents' projected market value against the anticipated salary cap space for each team. Finally, I add potential free agents or drafted players to different teams and identify which individuals increase teams' projected win total the most. My player model leverages historical pre-draft player data to forecast NFL performance. I'm starting this process early again this year, which is cool because I am excited to track how things change with free agency and as the draft process evolves. A little housekeeping. I use computer vision-derived measurements and stats in my player evaluations, and all of my speed, burst, and advanced tracking notes are based on-field game speed metrics. As of this writing, the draft order for picks 1 to 30 is set. The order for picks 31 to 32 will be determined by the outcome of Super Bowl LVII. Those picks are ordered in this mock based on regular season record, with strength of schedule as the tiebreaker. Tune in for live coverage of the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine beginning February 29 on NFL Network and NFL Plus. Chicago Bears. Joe Alt. In this theoretical exercise, the Bears keep Justin Fields and pick his high floor, aka lowered risk, LT prospect, who has experience but is also young, 20 years old, with a ton of upside. Altus passes receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. in immediate impact for the Bears' O-line, which allowed their QBs to be pressured at the highest rate in the league last season, 45.1%. This helps to show the value of the Bears' first-round equity, which will allow them to move all over the board if they want to. Washington Commanders. Caleb Williams. Williams' reunion with his former USC coach, Cliff Kingsbury, now Washington's OC, makes this a higher upside match than it would have been a week ago, before Kingsbury was hired. I am not sure about the gap other people see between the QBs in this year's draft, but my evaluation comes down to refinements between styles, opponents, team infrastructure, etc. for the top 2, and potentially the top 3. New England Patriots. Drake May. My models love May's upside for a number of reasons, but one that stands out is the level/routes he has thrown per computer vision tracking data. He did not have the most consistent route runners, and his ability to connect on many different throw speeds was extremely accurate. His intermediate throws that turned into receptions had a speed variance of about 7 miles per hour. I only looked back for 3 seasons, but the average for Power 5 QBs at the intermediate level is 3.4 miles per hour. Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr. No one is more surprised than me that an offensive lineman wasn't picked here, but the time Kyler Murray and the scheme can buy is best aided here with his high upside receiver. Harrison's routes are crisp, reliable, and create separation, which made him a problem for defenses, even though he didn't have the most accurate QB last season. Los Angeles Chargers. Terrion Arnold. Every year I get some data that looks like the prototype of the model. I measure players against prototypes of ideals. The prototype here shows signs of an elite trajectory based on ball skills and burst/speed. Arnold got better as the season went on. All of that is mixed with a dash of potentially getting caught being too aggressive. Why am I mentioning this in the Chargers section? Well, you have to be able to stop the pass, especially when you face Patrick Mahomes twice a year. New York Giants. Rome Odunze. Odunze is my WR2 by the slimmest of margins. In fact, his contested catchability, as well as his body control, ranks in the top 20 percentile in a 10-season sample. I also cannot believe my models didn't choose an O-lineman here either, as it is an area of big need. That should tell you how much my evaluations love Odunze. Tennessee Titans. Olumuyiwa Fashanu. Fashanu will be taught by OC Nick Holes and O-line coach Bill Callahan, which will allow him to showcase his run-blocking capabilities as he adjusts to pro-level pass protection. Fashanu is another younger tackle with experience and the makings of being a great NFL player. His balance through contact is an area where he is likely to excel early on, as he's massive and quite immovable when set. Atlanta Falcons. Jaden Daniels. The model flags high marks for accuracy, a quick release and pocket awareness. My favorite note on Daniels is that computer vision shows he can get his feet set to throw, as opposed to throwing when off balance, in the top 10 percentile, fastest in my 10-season sample. Chicago Bears. Malik Neighbors. Tigers go back-to-back. Neighbors ranks in the top 15 percentile in burst off the line of scrimmage, so defenses might want to press him. He also has the lowest speed erosion when running after contact of any WR in the past 3 NFL scouting combined classes. New York Jets. Thales Fuaga. I think my model has a crush on Fuaga. I checked 3 times and his center of gravity percentage. How often he stays balanced through contact ranks no. One among all right tackles in the run game in a 5-season sample. There's a lot to like in pass pro too. I'm guessing Aaron Rodgers would approve of this pick. Minnesota Vikings. Dallas Turner. Turner's burst ranks among the top 20% of edge prospects in my 10-season sample. He doesn't lose speed/velocity when traveling in a non-straight line, which means his pressures cause disruption more frequently. He posted 10 sacks last season, up from 4 as a sophomore. I'm pretty sure defensive coordinator Brian Flores would give GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah a handwritten thank you note if Turner ends up the choice here. Denver Broncos. Cooper DeJean. There is a long road between now and the draft. We'll be watching to see what Denver does at the quarterback position, but Broncos country, your team would immediately improve if you pick this very dynamic Yawa CB. Adding DeJean to complement Pat Certain D would be pretty special. He has experience in off coverage, which allowed me to measure how he takes straight lines at a rate in the top 18 percentile. This can also be considered a gauge of his ball tracking ability. Las Vegas Raiders. Bo Nix. You might have heard he had a 77.4 completion percentage last season, led FBS. But did you know his accuracy dropped off the least of any Power 5 QB on designed rollouts? Now you do. New Orleans Saints. Brian Thomas Jr. Thomas led the FBS with 17 receiving TDs, and they came from both the slot and out wide. He and Chris Olave together would be a really scary duo for opposing defenses. Indianapolis Colts. Brock Bowers. Bowers is one of the new mold tight ends, which means he forecast to be especially potent in a more modern offense. Enter Shane Steichen, Anthony Richardson, and the Colts scheme. Between blocking, aligning in the slot and out wide, making catches in the vaunted middle third of the field, and generally bullying defenders, Bowers is the kind of versatile piece that could make an immediate impact on the Colts offense, similar to what we saw from rookie tight ends in Detroit and Buffalo last year. Seattle Seahawks. Byron Murphy. Do I love trying to decipher how the college trend of the 3-3-5 defense translates to the NFL? Yes, I do. Murphy is an explosive player who recorded 5 sacks that weren't from the spots that players in that configuration most often earn sacks. I feel like the Seahawks, with new head coach Mike McDonald as the architect, will help turn Murphy into a really scary problem for offenses. Jacksonville Jaguars. Jared Verse. Verse is the power rusher prototype. He wins straight-ahead leverage matchups against O-linemen at a top 25 percentile rate. Utility in the run game is massive here, as the combination with Josh Allen and co. creates a lot of value. This assessment supposes Allen, an impending free agent, will be returning. Cincinnati Bengals. J.C. Latham. Latham has rare size, 6'6", 335 pounds, and power, and showed elite ability to win in both pass and run situations in college. He also showed on tape he can recover quickly on a play, which would go a long way in helping to keep Joe Burrow healthy. Los Angeles Rams. Tyler Guyton. Guyton doesn't have as much experience as some of the other O-linemen in his class, 15 starts over 4 seasons, but the attributes are all there. especially if he has the benefit of playing with a veteran QB. Over the past 8 seasons, Matthew Stafford ranks behind only Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes among active QBs in adding win share to an offensive line. Pittsburgh Steelers. Graham Barton. I have multiple models I use in my analysis during draft season. Among them is the model I use to make picks for mock drafts, while another helps to estimate where a player will actually end up. The latter focuses more on coaches/GMs/franchise historical trends. That model projects Barton to go in round 2, but that could be in part due to interior linemen often being undervalued in the draft, or at least not viewed, compared with other positions, as being worthy of a first-round pick. Barton is at his best when he's combo blocking, pulling, and when the defensive tackle is head-on. He definitely has the potential to upgrade the Steelers' run game, which would certainly please new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith.